I thought there'd be more.
I mean, we can't move on without talking about Chris punching a boulder.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. This whole time I was like, that was pretty dumb. I wonder if he was like, like he had some sort of he has like some sort of virus in him or whatever that made him super strong. No, I don't think that's the case.
It's just all the roids.
I swear it's just like he got beat up by Wesker at the end of Code Veronica, and it's just like from Cape Fear, and he's just working out and only thinking of Wesker. He's got like a picture of Wesker in the corner. Just,
it's like one hand says like it's a lot of words. A lot of letters. It's like Albert
Wesker,
yeah, like on like a pull-up bar. Yeah. He's like Wesker.
Replay Roundtable.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Replay Roundtable, where we talk about movies and games, basically like a review show. Once again, here with Eddie and Will.
hello.
How's it going?
And today we're going to be talking about Resident Evil, the games. It's going to be 4, 5, and 6. So, first off, what do you guys think of 4?
It's pretty good. Funnily enough, my opinion is probably the opposite of most people's, because out of these 3 games, 4 is actually probably my least favorite.
Cool.
I don't know if it's a little bit of a bias, because it bothered me how much hate Resident Evil 5 got for like being actiony, even though Resident Evil 4 is obnoxiously actiony.
It's pretty actiony, yeah.
There's little cutscenes where like you have to press buttons in the cutscene itself, and you'll throw a knife into a dude's hand.
Yeah.
I just found 4 had more horror elements than 5.
A little bit, yeah. I can
Had more dark corners.
Yeah.
Took it a little bit slower in places.
I will.
4 is where it became
4 has,
more of an action horror game than a survival horror.
Yeah.
But
and like I did like a lot of things that Resident Evil 4 brought. Like, I do like the over-the-shoulder camera angle. I do enjoy the customization in that game is probably one of the best. Probably not till Village really did they
Bring that back
anywhere close to the same level of customization to like what your weapons are and how you upgrade them and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it brought a lot of cool things. At the time, I did enjoy the quick time events. I thought it was cool, the fact that like you're watching a cutscene and all of a sudden it's like, oh, prompt, by the way.
yeah, don't put down your controller.
Yeah, do not put it down.
The first time when that fucking boulder came out of nowhere, and it was like
that thing killed me so many times.
Yeah, me too. I was like, press the button, I'm like, what? And just like killed me.
Trying to beat those button mash ones on the harder difficulty is a nightmare.
I can imagine.
Like you're gonna like annihilate. Like I remember getting blisters from my thumb from trying to like run super fast try and do it that way. But this one has it started kind of taking Resident Evil in a different direction for sure.
Yeah.
The first thing they do is they destroy Umbrella. The thing that all of the previous games have been like, we need to take down Umbrella. We need to destroy Umbrella. It happened off screen in the stock market.
It's like, okay, cool.
It's like, well, okay.
All right.
Now, I mean, thankfully, like the higher ups in Umbrella were still doing like nefarious things in the background, even after the company, what's the word?
Collapsed.
Went
under, whatever.
Yeah. Was defunct. But like, yeah, that was a little disappointing. I have to admit, that was my first disappointment in this game, is just being like, oh, I guess Umbrella's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, it's like a totally different thing, right? Like,
yeah. Well, they call things like Neo Umbrella, and
Neo Umbrella I don't think is until 6. And then 5 is Tricell. 4
but I think 4. I think when Wesker is I think when Wesker is like talking to Ada and stuff, like when I think it's in the DLC, one of the DLC, well, not DLCs before, because there wasn't DLCs back then.
No,
there was an added little mini campaign on the second release of the game when it came out on PlayStation. And
okay,
instead of,
I probably haven't
GameCube.
played that then.
I haven't either.
So yeah, I think that basically Wesker was saying he's like restarting Umbrella, but they dropped that. They dropped that thread.
Sure.
Because next game it's not what he's doing. So
Yeah. Is Wesker even in this one? No. Right?
he's briefly.
Kinda, not
very
really.
briefly.
Okay.
He's a video screen that Ada talks to for like a second.
Right.
Yeah.
So this, the story in general, I think is Leon. I think it's the first time Leon shows up in the Resident Evil games, right?
No.
No.
No,
He's
two.
in two.
Oh, two, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, he
used to be a cop. Now he's Secret Service.
Yeah.
He works for
Yeah.
the U.S. government.
Directly under the president.
and I guess the president's daughter's been taken or something by this group.
Also, there is. I don't know if this is for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's another case of like Leon's first day, basically. Because I'm pretty sure the daughter gets kidnapped, and then they're like, "All right, Leon, you're on the job now. Go
Here you
get
go."
the daughter. Here's a crazy ass mission for you to deal with."
On your own in like a foreign
Yeah.
area with all these bad things happening.
There was some cops with him at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
were just
they all
die.
die immediately.
But they were just some local cops.
Did they die
were
or they
like,
leave?
Oh, they get killed immediately.
Yeah.
I thought they left
Yeah.
without. Oh,
No.
Okay.
No, one of them you see him like hanging
Impaled
up and
on, like,
impaled.
Oh,
and
right,
The other
yeah.
one, I'm guessing, just like went off the or crashed the car, because the car ends up. You go back and look at the car, and it's been pushed off the bridge.
Right. Okay. I forgot about that.
So yeah, Leon's in this weird rural Spanish town, and of course, no real location disclosed at all, because when it comes to Resident Evil, they're like, we don't want to actually say anything about this area actually, so and yeah, he starts realizing there's something up with the villagers of this place. They seem to be acting weird, and then all of a sudden they start attacking him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the bell tower keeps calling them into the church or something.
Yeah,
He's
some sort of signal seems to make them gather. They, at the very beginning, you don't know exactly what's going on, because they don't look like zombies. They look like regular people for the most part. I think some of them might have red eyes or something, but for the most part, they look like regular people. But they're just attacking you, and you don't know what's going on. And then as you progress,
it's okay.
As you progress, Leon starts uncovering what's going on here. He finds the president's daughter eventually. I think she's in a church or something. He ends up finding her the first
I can't
time.
remember where he finds her. But yeah.
And I think at that point you've realized that the villagers are infected in some way. I don't think you know exactly what's going on, and also I believe he gets infected.
He does get infected. I was about to say
both
that.
him and the president's daughter get infected.
The big dude in the fucking trench coat,
Rasputin?
yeah, Rasputin.
He looks like Rasputin.
Pretty much, yeah. He ambushes him and just goes into his neck, and he's like, "You're now infected." He's like, "Damn."
He also meets some mysterious guy that you don't really get much of a Louise, I think.
Maybe.
With
I
the
think it's
who?
Louise.
The Spanish dude? Oh yeah, and he's in a room and he's tied up or something.
Yeah, he's in a a cupboard.
Oh yeah, cover opens and he just gets out.
Yeah.
And falls down.
And that guy, I think he mentions that he was a cop at some point.
I don't remember.
I think it's a cop. Yeah.
He's although he's in
He's yeah.
he's in Matador clothing.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah, it's very
understand,
It's got a really fancy vest on.
Yeah.
Very stereotypical fucking Spanish guy.
Yeah,
It's
no, and that's the uniform for Spanish cops in this rural area of Spain.
Yeah.
But yeah, he meets that guy. Don't know much about him yet either. But once you meet up with the president's daughter, I can't remember. I think you find out she's infected from that guy somehow. So you know that he's involved in some of this.
I can't remember. Really?
No, I think him, the president's daughter and Leon get captured at some point, and then the creepy short guy infects them both.
Well, that
Luis, whatever, he's looking for a cure. Like he's got a cure
Oh yeah,
because he brings them a cure.
That's right.
right.
Or it's
okay.
a suppressant, right?
something of those lines.
Because I remember the way they have to get it out is with that like laser device.
Yeah, it's because they lose the cure.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
So they had to use that.
Yeah, and I don't know. This one actually probably is the one that I haven't played the most recently.
That's
honestly.
fair. Well, at some point you've got to go to like a castle, and when you go into the castle, that's where the fucking the weird short creepy dude is, I think.
Yeah,
and he's like the lieutenant.
he's
I think
strange.
you like fight the village's chief first though, which is probably
who's that?
the big Rasputin.
Oh
The
yeah,
big
well
tall
that's the main dude, isn't he? He's the main bad guy. No.
No.
Oh no,
Oh.
he dies before you even meet Salazar. I think Salazar's the short dude.
Yeah, Salazar.
So Salazar is the lieutenant of the dude. Salazar is not the main dude. He's like under the other guy.
The guy in like the purple robe with like the staff. He's the main guy.
Oh yeah.
The tall, creepy Rasputin guy. He's like the first area's big boss.
But the short dude is the lieutenant of the robe dude.
yes,
Yeah.
they both are.
Which I don't know, lieutenant's like a thing like in an army. Like they don't have an army.
Lieutenant can be used for like right hand man or like
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
your subordinates in a militia. Kind of
Yeah.
thing, which they kind of are, even though their militia is brain control. Civilians.
I thought it was really cool when all the villagers come after you and they start saying stuff in Spanish, I think,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah,
they're real words, obviously. Like I didn't know at the time. That was just they're saying, shit. I wasn't sure. Like I thought they were just like being
I
like
think-
zombies going like. I
I think most of the things they say are things like "get him" or
the actual things. I
yeah,
thought that was
yeah.
pretty neat. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting that these definitely aren't zombies. I guess that's the first thing that's like a departure.
Yeah. What the hell?
Is that they're not zombies?
Is that there's no zombies in this game? Because
Well, they are. They
They're-
aren't.
they're
not.
not zombies.
They're being
They're not
taken
zombies.
over.
Yes,
yeah.
they have parasites in them that
right.
control them, but
They're dead though. I think. Right. There's no way to bring them back because their heads turn into shit and all that.
no.
They're they're not really dead until like its head explodes and becomes a crazy tentacle thing.
Yeah, and it's
But
called
I
Lost
mean-
Plagas. We didn't mention before.
Yeah, Lost
Yeah.
Plagas is the name of the parasite.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, I think in like the files of this game, you can find out that they just kind of found this thing.
Yeah, it was like fossilized, or
yeah.
it was like, it's somewhere under the town or whatever.
Yeah, they found this parasite and were like, let's like fool around with it.
So they're like,
Well, I
fucking
think it infected the people that found it and went from there.
Yeah, but
or something.
they did like experiment on it to make it more controllable and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
why did they want to like infect everybody? I don't really understand the motive of everything. Like, what was the point of
Motive
it?
of these guys, I think, was to take America down. I think is
Maybe?
like what they're trying to do.
That sounds familiar.
I think so. That's why they infected the president.
Yeah, because they were trying to infect the president, and then
So I think
right,
they were
and they took
trying
the president's
to
daughter to-
destabilize America.
yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. The puzzles are cool in this one. There's a lot of
there's some
puzzles in
good
this, which is cool.
Also scares the shit out of you when you get chainsawed in half.
Yeah, the first time that ever happened to me, I was just kind of like walking around the wall, and like these guys came at me, and I heard like a "Rrr, rrr," and I'm like, "The fuck is that?" Turn around, he's already like in my neck, like I'm like, "Oh god!"
This game has actual decapitation, which is super rare for Japanese games.
Yeah.
Is that rare?
Yes, because they're not supposed to depict. I'm sure it was censored in Japan because
Probably.
they aren't allowed to depict things like decapitation or dismemberment.
Do you know why?
It's just part of their obnoxious censorship laws
Oh.
that they have. I mean, they don't have porn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
to
that. Yeah.
censor porn.
That's why everything's so like fucking sexually orientated, like in anime or whatever.
yeah.
It's like, well,
They
look at
gotta
this
get
kind of
it out
porn, but
somewhere.
might as well, But yeah. What was it? Shit.
Another cool thing about this one is that there's a lot of like there's a little bit more like side stuff. It's a little bit less linear. It still is.
It's still linear, but
It's
there's
still linear, but there's a
more-
little bit more options.
It's like more open world linear. So like
Yeah.
there's like you go into an area and that area opens up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is I like that
And
kind of
there's,
open
like-
world stuff.
There's like things that, previous Resident Evil games, pretty much, for the most part, pretty much every item you need to pick up eventually. Like you, not maybe healing items and stuff like that, but in this one there's like collectible like jewels and
there's stuff to sell because you can upgrade your guns and
you can shoot these things out of trees and stuff like that, grab them and then like sell them or something.
Yeah.
And can I say, like, the what are you buying guy?
He's the best.
He's the best. And he's, like, always just there.
Fantastic.
Once I accidentally shot him, and he never comes back, I think. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, on professional difficulty, if you kill him, he will never come back.
Yeah, and I did that. I don't know why I was playing professional, because I remember doing that, and I shot him back, because guys are coming at me, and I'm like, shit. And I actually, like, shot him, and he, like, fell to the ground. I'm like, he took one hit. Oh crap! And then he like, then I was like, people were like, oh, and then he's right. Like, I went to this place and he's supposed to be in this corner. I'm like, where the fuck is he? I looked up online. And it's like he's supposed to be there, but if you kill him, he doesn't come back. I'm like, oh damn it!
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Don't
so I had to restart. Yeah, it was shitty. But I made the joke before, being like, how is he always there? Like, he's always just kind of like wherever you are. I always like thought it would be kind of fun and kind of funny to like make a little bit of an animation or whatever, showing what he does to get to where you are. So like it'll be all about him, and he's like killing all these fucking like zombie dudes or whatever,
or just avoiding them.
Yeah, and when he's like jumping on rooftops and stuff like that, he's like, and then drops down into a corner. As Leon just comes around the corner, he's like, "What are you buying?"
Yeah, just calm there, and like he's wearing all this stuff so you can't see, but he's just drenched in sweat.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you buying?" What are you buying? Oh. Oh no, he's like, what are you buying? And then Leon leaves and he's like, oh sweet Jesus. And he just falls down.
Yeah. And then like, there's an area after the village that's like this castle where Salazar, one of the lieutenants of the main guy, is in charge.
And they start shooting catapults at you.
Yeah, that's right. Somehow you can take a catapult and not die immediately.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like, I can do this? Okay. Interesting.
Also, I do love that you can suplex dudes and make their heads explode.
Yeah, just
roundhouse kicks.
Great.
Yeah, roundhouse kicks.
There's a lot of cool things in this game, like the fact that like they'll throw weapons at you and you can shoot that.
You can shoot them out of the air.
Yeah, that's cool. I once shot one out of the air. It was like he like threw it and he was like, pew! And so I shot it and went into somebody's like fucking shoulder. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, no, it did bring a lot of revolutionary stuff to really the whole gaming world too, because third-person shooters weren't a big thing before Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was definitely nice to not have fixed camera angles anymore.
Yeah.
And but like even like the whole game industry, like there was a couple of first-person or third-person shooters, but it would be essentially a first-person shooter, but with a character in front of your screen, basically, because it would be the same style. You'd have a crosshair in the middle of the screen still, and like but this one, when they got rid of the crosshair, it had the laser sights on the guns for your aiming. It has that classic over the shoulder and then aiming down the sights brings you zoomed in closer kind of thing, like that. It kind of brought a lot of those things to the mainstream, at least.
Yeah, it had quite a bit of stuff that it kind of like popularized, yeah,
for sure.
And trying to think here, the game style. What did you think of it? The fact you had to like stop and shoot, you can't back up. You got to like just like stand there and be like,
yeah.
Okay.
I never had a problem with it.
I didn't. Now I feel like it's hard to return to a little bit.
That's fair, but like go back and try and play GoldenEye.
Oh no,
that is miserable.
Thanks. Yeah,
that's because the controller though sucks.
Well, also the controller sucks. But
it's like I gotta hold it like this now and go up and down. That's weird. You gotta do this for it. What the fuck?
But it also like.
But yes, GoldenEye's a great game. But it's fucking miserable now. Controllers.
Well, that kind of like does suck. It also, I guess, probably with 4 and 5 even a little bit, by having that inability to move while shooting, it kind of like
some sort of dread
tries to make it a little bit more tense than like other third-person shooters would be.
And I mean, you had to stop to shoot in the old games too.
No, I know, but
then the camera angle's like up here, and you couldn't aim at anything anyway.
Yeah,
Except
or
for
it's like aimed
Outbreak.
at your face, and the guy
Outbreak
comes
was
up and you're
the-
like, where the fuck do I shoot?
I remember when I played Outbreak for the first time. Outbreak is a online old online co-op game for PS2, Resident Evil game.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And I remember I was just so amazed. You can move while it just blew my mind. It shouldn't have, but
Plenty of times that the guys have killed me when I had to like stop there and like bang, 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 turn, walk, huh, bang, 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 oh god, and just keep walking, and it's just like so annoying.
You got to use the quick turn.
yeah, which I didn't know that until like later on in the game you could do. So I was like, that would be good to know. Cool, because you're like, huh, instead of being like,
yeah.
it was super annoying, but.
Yeah, and then the castle ends with fighting Salazar, and he turns into this wall of a creature, basically.
Yeah, with a weird of his own face like on it, I think.
There was a giant statue of him you had to run away from.
That's
at some
right.
Point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also in that weird mutated form, when you fuck up his like neck body thing, it opens up and you can see like a like welded to flesh kind of Salazar stuck in there, and that's his like weak spot or whatever.
True. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, in case you wanted a shot at me, here you go. And it's like, why would you do that?
Also, fighting the giant fish thing, that was fantastic.
The
Just
fish,
like
yeah.
chucking harpoons at it from the boat.
Yeah, and then you get like
great.
just dragged along with the boat. It's pretty good.
That's pretty tense when you like when the rope wraps around your leg and you're just like mashing furiously because
Yeah.
that's the end of the fight. So like you're like, oh, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I already fought so hard.
Right. I didn't like the the stabbing motion in the game. Where like
the
you had to be
knife.
like in one place and you're like, yeah. It's very like not useful, really.
Yeah, you can still knife run that game though.
Yeah, you can, but it's hard.
Most Resident Evil games you can knife run.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you can. Yeah.
it's like a whole thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it fun, but if that's what you want to do.
I've never attempted one. It just seems too rough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would not do that.
That is one thing about this game is that there are far too many QuickTime events.
There is
I mean,
a
QuickTime
lot of-
events in general it just seems like a thing of this era of gaming
Yeah.
Yeah.
that they just really liked for some reason.
And it's like you're
so much they're still holdover today.
Yeah.
They're not as prevalent as they used to be, but yeah, there are still some.
And it's like annoying where like you're watching a cutscene, put your controller down. And it was like, press X! You're like, oh shit. And then you get like fucking killed. You're like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do anything. I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
It's a little bit frustrating. The
Well,
boulder
there's the-
part pissed the shit
There's
off
the
of me.
fight later on with Krauser.
Oh, Krauser,
yeah,
yeah.
the knife
Jesus.
fight.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just like the entire part of that is just all QuickTime events.
it's obnoxious, yeah. That's the one part I didn't like about this game was a lot of those.
Also, this is the game where you start seeing that the movies are starting to influence the games.
Oh?
Because there's like, for example, took a little bit more of an actiony route, and that was partially because of the popularity at the time of the Resident Evil movies.
From what I was listening to a recap earlier, and they were talking about how this game went through a bunch of iterations before it became like Resident Evil 4, and they were all like always kind of more action oriented.
Except the one with the ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first movie wasn't out when this movie came out. You were talking about like this game kind of was, it went into like an action oriented kind of thing because of the movies.
Yeah.
Or whatever. The first movie wasn't out this time, was it?
The first two were out.
Was it? Really?
Yep.
When did the
2001, 2004.
Wow, really? Is it that old?
And this game came out in 2006, I believe.
Huh.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
And then Extinction came out that year as well.
I could have sworn that it was. I need to look this up real quick.
It's okay, I gotta go. Okay. Like, there's even like a laser hallway scene in Resident Evil 4.
Is there?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's a part where you have to like input prompts as the lasers come, and Leon does like backflips and stuff through them.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's right after the Krauser knife fight.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I remember that so well. I just remember that sequence of events.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to like find the. Oh, I think I was wrong about. what is the guy's name in the purple robe?
I don't know.
And is it actually Salazar and the other guy is something else?
That actually might be. You might be right about that.
Yeah, because you head to a island with a facility, and this one creature in the game actually is like horrific kind of thing, and it's the Regenerators.
Yes,
Yeah, they're actually
that
terrifying.
thing scared the shit out of me back when I first played this.
Oh, those, yeah.
down in like the cellar, and you have to like shoot liquid nitrogen tanks and freeze it.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah.
When it first comes out, it's like, and it's like super slow and just like, yeah, it's scary. That scared the shit out of you. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, no, Salazar is the little dude,
Okay.
but I can't remember the
I
other
think it
guy's
also
name.
starts with an S.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does too. Sadler.
Right.
Sadler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was the first Resident Evil game I ever played, and it's what got me hooked on the series.
Yeah.
I loved it so much, and I loved going back after beating it and having infinite ammo and putting Ashley in the suit of armor.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah.
That's the only way I
also
professional mode.
I also love how they changed the animation for when you catch her. It's like Leon's like, oh!
Yeah. But it's funny.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
fantastic.
the Ganados, the Las Plagas infected dudes, they can't pick her up.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like, and they fall over.
I don't know about you guys, but the room of like horror, the part of the game that I loathe every time I'm going through it is there's one room in the castle that has like rows of dudes with shields and they're all in the black and then the red robes, and that room is just horrible because there's so many guys in there. They all try to grab her and run out the door.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to direct her to go up on places, and then she, like, has to turn cranks. You have to protect her while she's doing that.
That room is miserable.
It's like the one part of the game where I'm like, just take that out. And the game will
Can we just not do
better
this?
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, when Ashley becomes, which I think is her name.
Yeah.
You have to like save her, keep her like from getting murdered or whatever, taken away.
Yeah. Well, she has her own health bar too, which
She does.
Yeah, so that's when it gets really annoying for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny when they say, he's like, Rami just put her over her shoulder and goes like, I'm taking her with me now. And I'm like, no, good. She went like in the back and go,
This is Resident Evil escort mission. I have to admit. Most of this game, you are escorting her. And I'm glad that they went from Resident Evil 4 to 5. I'm glad they went, okay, let's not have her escort. Let's have the other person be an actual possible, either player or at least an AI with a gun.
Semi-competent.
Yeah. I mean, AI
Exactly.
originally on Resident Evil 5 was horrible, but
Yeah.
we can talk about that later.
agreed.
But yeah, so
The lost plot. Well,
after the Regenerators, I think it gets pretty close to the end where they find the device to try and get rid of the parasite that's in the two of them.
yeah. Yeah.
And they successfully do that. They successfully cure themselves. And then all that's left is a fight with... I can't believe we haven't talked about Ada. Ada's in this game. Ada Wong from
is.
Resident Evil 2 is in this game too.
Is she?
Yeah. Wherever Leon shows up, Ada's not far behind.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't remember that.
She
like does this crazy kick when he first finds her. She does this crazy kicks the gun out of his hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right. She does
okay.
like a forward cartwheel kick.
Yeah.
And then catches the gun.
Okay. I remember that.
Yeah, no, she's basically being the same character she is in every one of these games, which is, haha, I'm mysterious and aloof, and I'm not going to tell you what my side is or anything like that. And I think she's working with Wesker, it turns out. And trying to get a sample of the parasite. I think that's the whole reason she's there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if that was her goal, couldn't they have just kidnapped one of the like low level like infected dudes?
Apparently there's different versions of the parasite.
Okay.
Because
So
they're
maybe it
like
was like
Sadler has one that like he can use to control the other parasites.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense at least, but yeah. But that's her whole reason. Finally you end up fighting Sadler. Like that's the final boss of this one.
Yeah.
Which it's a pretty good boss battle.
Can't remember the end very well.
You go up. For some reason, it looks like a construction site, and that's always the one thing about this fight that's bothered me. I'm like, what is this area? I guess they're building more on this island, more of this facility that they've already started.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, you beat him classically with a rocket launcher.
Yep.
Good old Resident Evil tropes that don't die and keep on going.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Actually, they've abandoned them in the new ones, it seems like, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except for Resident Evil 2 remake. That's a discussion for another time.
Those are the remakes though too. So
Yeah, so they kind of have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think Leon and Ashley escape on a...
Boat?
No, it's a...
Oh, you've gone a jet ski at some point.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah, that
Right,
fucking-
they drive away from the island on a jet ski.
Yeah. Plenty of times where you've got to go like into the tunnels and go find the way that's like actually open. I'll like just smack into like one of the ones that's not open and I'm like, damn it!
It's supposed to be the cinematic like ending moment and you're just like, meh.
Yeah, and it's like, boom, 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 the end.
The other classic Resident Evil trope where you've got to get away from the island before it explodes.
Yeah. I think it was about to explode, yeah.
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 Oh, there's always a time.
There's always like a timer and you got to like either run away or in this case jet ski away.
Jet ski away!
Also, like, how did they get that thing? Like, jet skis are not meant for long distance travel.
No, it's like, and they went, it's like a title comes
But I
up
mean,
like the
Leon was in contact with
True.
his handler, I guess.
Yeah, they
Oh,
could have.
yeah.
They could have set someone to
So
pick, I
guess.
yeah, she probably sent someone to pick them up.
Probably. I was gonna say.
But yeah, it introduced some cool new mechanics. Changed Resident Evil forever.
Yeah, this is where it starts to become less survival horror and more survival action, which is
Kind of unfortunate, but
I prefer it personally.
you prefer what?
Survival action rather than survival horror.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
I like
Or sorry,
both.
action horror, not
Survival horror. Oh, okay. I like the survival horror thing. That's why I liked 1 and 2 a lot.
Yeah.
3 was good too. It was very like slow burn and it was pretty creepy in lots of places. This one was like, lots of kind of action-y
I
stuff.
personally think
which is
every
alright, but-
era of Resident Evil has its own personal charm.
Yeah.
And these ones are the more very action heavy and kind of balls to the wall, just action story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with horror elements kind of thing.
Yeah, if you beat the game once, you can get the Chicago typewriter.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
It has like unlimited ammo.
Yeah. Machine gun, you can just mow down dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cheesing.
It's kind of that's another like Resident Evil tradition is having unlocks, especially with unlimited ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, after you beat the game.
Or a rocket launcher that never needs the reload. It's just like.
Usually have to clear it in a certain time for those ones. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this game. Like I said, I'm probably the odd one out when I find I enjoyed this one probably the least out of
Fair.
these three. But I still loved it.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it too. It was one of my favorites. It was just unfortunate. It wasn't very umbrella based. It was kind of its own
Yeah.
thing, and I'm like, this story is weird, but I like the gameplay. It was still like action horror situation. It did a good like kind of mixture of the two. Anything else you want to explain about this one?
I think we can probably move on to
Yeah.
Resident Evil 5.
Okay, well, let's go with a verdicts of 4. Like, what would you rate it if you were rated something?
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm probably in the 8 range as well. Kind of maybe 8.5.
I think I'd probably be like 7.5 or so. Yeah, it's good. I liked it, but like some of the controls are kind of weird, and like I said, just some of the things you have to stop and shoot is kind of annoying.
It was also
But,
kind of a sign of its, or a thing of its time, the controls.
yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay, so now we're on to 5.
Yep.
Okay. This one you're like in a. Do they ever explain where they are? Yes, they do.
They're in
Somewhere
Africa.
Africa, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of situation, isn't it? Where it's like.
It's similar. It's somewhere in rural Africa this time.
Yeah.
Some unnamed village.
Yep.
It's a theme in these games. And yeah, you are playing as Chris Redfield, and
Who got swole?
yeah,
He did get swole.
got
Yeah.
real
He's
big.
been hitting the gym real hard.
Real hard.
Yeah, he wants to take his rival Wesker down, who has superpowers, so he's got to get as ripped as possible.
Yep. See, I don't have superpowers, but he does, and it's a musket.
Yeah.
Today, musket swole.
So yeah, he's on a new mission into Africa. He gets a new partner, and at first, I think they're just trying to find the weapons dealers that are dealing with these biological weapons. Like I think that's the first thing that brings them the BSAA, which is the organization he works for.
Yeah.
It's a new organization that is. It's a government organization, I think, designed to count. It's like a
Counterterrorism? Counter-bioterror?
like biological.
Yeah, it's like a
weapons and stuff.
countermeasures organization for bioweapons.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I like this one. This one has a really special place in my heart because I just had so much fun playing this one. And I was so excited to see Wesker back in all his like obnoxious glory.
Yep, he's quite obnoxious. Yep.
And I don't know, I love this game. I think that it has good upgrade systems like 4. It has a huge variety of weapons that you can use. Mm-hmm. It has a large variety of enemies are in this game. Admittedly, a lot of similar like parasite infected humans. But there's some crazy weird shit in this game. Like there are tribal people that it seems like they were just already like 8 feet tall, and then they got infected by Las Palmas because it doesn't explain why these guys are just like giant in comparison to the normal people.
Yeah, they definitely don't explain it, yeah. I enjoyed the game too. There was I remember it being a lot worse because I remember like looking back on it and be like, oh, 5 was a clusterfuck or whatever, and I didn't really like it. But then I'm like think more of it. I'm like, I did play with a bit of co-op with it. It was fun doing that. The puzzles were still pretty good. It was very actiony though, which I'm kind of but
it's got also one of
I
the
would
best...
say this is the most action-oriented game.
6 was, I think.
Parts of 6 were.
I'd say most of 6. The Leon campaign has that like horror-y side to it, but the rest of it, you're pretty like badass action hero.
That's true.
Yeah. And even in Leon's campaign, you're still a badass. Like you're doing. Well, we can talk about that after. But yeah, I don't know. I really love this one. Its story is obnoxious, but for me, it's the like right type of obnoxious. It's the like we don't really care that much about that. We're just having an excuse to have crazy and fun action kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I don't know. I guess also this game is the first game I ever platinumed, so that's probably got something to do with why I have such a like warm feeling for it.
Fair enough, yeah.
Which was such a pain.
Oh,
you had to kill an enemy with an egg. That was the hardest trophy to get.
An egg? That's a weapon?
Yeah, you can throw eggs in that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems weird, but okay.
The rotten eggs did the most damage. But it was only like 5 hit points or something. It was super hard to kill an enemy with these eggs. You had to whittle them down first, I think.
Interesting.
That probably sounds like something you would have to do.
Yeah.
That's one of those achievements that I would just be like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, same.
I'm not going to platinum this game.
No, right?
Had the guide and everything. This was back when like you could still get like
paper guides,
paper strategy guides. I mean, I think you still can they make a couple.
They did make a couple, yeah,
but it's not very common now.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to find those now.
Yeah. So like the story, how does that go forward though? With the story.
Well, basically, as you're moving through this African town, things start unraveling that there's more going on here. It's not just a weapons deal. There's kind of like a whole conspiracy about that the bioweapon created here is that they're planning on actually like releasing this bioweapon, not just like selling it to people. Like they're the actual instigators that are going to release this thing.
Okay, yeah.
You kind of go through a couple of people trying to figure out who's in charge, and then eventually it turns out that Wesker from the previous games is actually behind it all.
It's Umbrella by another name. It's Tricell now.
Right, and it's...
Which is apparently working with the BSAA, and then they find out that Tricell is evil and basically Umbrella.
Yeah.
Umbrella 2.0.
Well,
Yeah.
Also, you find out in this game, though, the original founder of Umbrella, Wesker, killed him.
Yeah. Oswald.
Yeah.
Spencer.
Right, okay.
Who was like the guy behind Umbrella, like the original founder of Umbrella.
Yeah.
And like the reason he was doing all of this was to create like superhumans kind of thing, immortal superhumans.
He was trying to make himself immortal or
Yeah.
make somebody immortal or whatever.
It's pretty Resident Evil-y, trying to make
Yeah.
yourself immortal.
Also, Wesker can move so fast that he disappears from a visual perception, which is pretty ridiculous, but also like I don't know, I loved it, but it is kind of obnoxious because if you actually think about it for a sec, you're like, well, there's no way that any human being would be able to do anything against this guy. He literally moves so fast it looks like he's teleporting.
Yeah, he's like blipping in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight was really annoying. I remember that being super frustrating.
Which one? The final one against
Yeah.
him? Or
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, there was like a couple of things you could do. You had to like turn on lights or something.
Oh, yeah.
His eyes are sensitive and it makes it harder for him to dodge or something.
Do you have to like shoot him and then his glasses fall off or something? You gotta shine light in him or something?
I can't remember that detail.
It's been so long since I played this one, and this one wasn't really a standout for me.
Yeah, wasn't really a standout for me either. It was still decent. I still had an alright time, but I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I enjoyed quite a few of the bosses in this game.
I can't remember the bosses in this one.
So there is the crazy like bat, like slug kind of thing that has like a back end that's like a
scorpion,
slug, a back
or-
scorpion kind
Oh,
of thing.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that one, and then after that you fight. One of the guys is just this like weird, like New Yorker guy, and for some reason, when he infects himself, he turns into like megalodon-sized monster that like has him inside its mouth. It's admittedly weird.
It's very Resident Evil when it's
Very
it
Resident
can't
Evil,
be
yeah.
Resident Evil without being weird.
Yeah. There's also this massive like crab creature that kind of like somehow sneaks up on you even though it's massive. It's just all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, it's here. There's also, and then like, although they were frustrating, I did enjoy the fights with like Jill and Wesker. I thought they were pretty cool. It was the first time in a Resident Evil game where you're fighting more like a humanoid enemy.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
like wasn't just a zombie kind of thing.
Speaking of which, though, in the the fourth one, quick back up. Krauser, what was he again? What was his point in the entire story?
He was a ex like partner of Leon's.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like special forces or something, and his arm got fucked up. So he injected something into it.
Yeah.
And he was under who? Like, who was he?
He was working for Sadler.
Yeah,
Sadler.
he was working for.
Oh, he's like a hired mercenary or something like that?
I think he was. I think he was put there
also,
by Wesker.
Yeah, I think he was also another agent for Wesker.
Yeah.
Okay. So much like fucking other shit that convolutes stuff, but anyway.
Resident Evil has the most convoluted stories.
It.
Like, basically
It's
possible.
pretty confusing at this point.
Yeah. That's why it's hard for me to remember everything. 'Cause there's just so many different things that go together and then retcon other stuff or whatever. And I'm like, oh, God.
And they just continue to do it.
Yeah. More convoluted, more shit. It's like, oh, no.
This was also the first time that you saw enemies who shoot back in this game. Like, there was, I think there was arrows in 4, guys who shot arrows and stuff.
Yeah. Well, they shot catapults at you, and then they had
but
crossbows.
they had crossbows.
They had crossbows.
And
yeah.
they'd throw those axes.
Oh, and
at
there
you,
was
too.
there was
the
also the
axes,
guys
yeah.
with the chain guns. So actually,
Chain guns?
Yeah.
Who had chain gun?
Wasn't there big guys with... Oh, I'm thinking of 5, maybe.
Maybe?
But I thought I remember... Isn't once you get to the island in 4, there's like those bigger guys that like... I think they have guns.
Maybe?
But I could be wrong.
I can't remember.
But yeah, that returns. Having enemies in a Resident Evil game shoot at you, which is kind of interesting. I'd say the worst part of this game is that they did a really bad job at creating a cover system, especially for those situations.
Yeah.
It's like this weird context sensitive cover system that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, how so?
Well, like, it's weird. Other third-person shooters, you would go up to a wall, press a button, and that'll lock you into the cover. But this one, you have to aim, but also, like, push the stick in a direction.
Oh.
And be close enough to the wall that aiming will lock you to the wall. It's
bizarre.
It's a little bit weird.
And it doesn't work very well. And, I mean, you only need it in the last couple of chapters when enemies have guns anyways, so...
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't know why you even added this.
Isn't there like a situation where like there's snipers trying to shoot you or whatever, and you don't know what the fuck they're coming from?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's either that or 4. I can't remember which one, but...
I can't remember.
Also, can I just say in 4, it's pretty hilarious. Like, take out your sniper rifle and just shoot dudes, and they like fall off the edge. They're like, ah! And instead of being like, maybe not that way, maybe not off the cliff, or like throw a fucking dynamite and they go, and just I don't know. It's super funny.
Shooting dynamite out of their hands is pretty funny.
They're like,
that's fantastic.
dude, oh fuck, dude.
I guess there's not that much to talk about this game.
I thought there'd be more.
I mean, we can't move on without talking about Chris punching a boulder.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think that's like the last portion. Like that's
fighting Wesker on a piece
active
of
volcano.
in an active volcano.
Yeah, even though when you're that close to lava, you just like melt.
Oh, you ignite.
Yeah.
You just burst into flames.
You're just like, I'm gonna punch this boulder, but like then it gets air and it like fucking
Yeah, the air temperature is definitely high enough that it would ignite human flesh. So.
Yeah. And like this whole time I was like, that was pretty dumb. I wonder if he was like, like he had some sort of like he has like some sort of virus in him or whatever that made him super strong. No, I don't think that's the case.
It's just all the roids.
He's just gigantic. He's like, I can hit a boulder
Working
that's like the size of a house
also with
almost.
all the roids.
It's real life. It's like, broke my hand. Oh, fuck.
Like I said, I was saying earlier before we started, I swear it's just like he got beat up by Wesker at the end of Code Veronica, and it's just like from Cape Fear, and he's just working out and only thinking of Wesker. He's got like a picture of Wesker in the corner. Just
It's like one hand says like it's a lot of words. A lot of letters. It's like Albert
Wesker,
like, on like a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
He's like Wesker.
I don't know. I love this game, but mostly because I love obnoxious shit. So it's understandable that it might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why this one feels more action-y to me is because it's all set in like pretty much the whole game is set in like bright open areas. It's very like bright. It's not dark or that horror element seems to slip away a bit with all the light.
Yeah. No, I get that.
It's still
There's a couple of parts where you're like in like some caves and stuff where it's a little bit darker and stuff. Actually, there is one part that is kind of trumps almost anything in 4 for that specific thing, and it's part where one partner has to hold a flashlight and it's pitch black, and the other player has to be the one shooting. And it is fucking stressful because you can't see anything unless your partner is actually aiming the light in the right way.
So, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, and it is stressful because like especially if you're playing co-op, because with the AI it just locks on to whatever you're aiming at.
Yeah.
But if you're playing with another actual person, there will be times that you're like aiming at something, your partner turns a little bit, and you're like, oh, I can't see what I'm shooting.
point back over here.
Yeah, and like It definitely should have had more moments like that. More moments where it was like putting up the tension a little bit more. And I mean, there are a few parts. Excuse me. There are a few parts sprinkled throughout that game that are like that. Like I'd say another part is when you first enter like the old umbrella facility that has been like retrofitted or whatever. There's a part where you're like walking through an area where liquors are in like.
What are we talking about?
Testing.
Which game?
5.
Oh, liquors are in 5?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep.
Okay.
And they're like they're in these like testing chamber kind of things, and as you're walking by, all of a sudden like tongues come flying out of the glass and grab you kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And I just remember that being really stressful. And, like there are a few moments like that, but yeah, there's definitely not enough.
Yeah, I agree. They had a decent amount of puzzles in this one, didn't they?
Not really.
They had a few.
I mean, there's always puzzles in Resident Evil, but I don't think there was a ton.
Yeah, I think this is probably the least. Well, maybe 6. 6 probably less. The puzzles in this one was more like find a place to throw your partner up so they can grab a key and
that is true.
Or you split up so that they can. You have to cover them while they go and push a switch or something.
True.
To unlock the door.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of like classic Resident Evil puzzles. Oh fuck! Sorry guys.
That's all right.
There wasn't a lot of classic Resident Evil puzzles like pushing crates.
Or like
Go find this piece of this emblem.
Yeah. Put together 3 pieces of this emblem to lock this door. That's got this complicated locking mechanism for no reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I think it's a solid game. I think that playing it co-op is a blast.
Yeah, I think it's more of a co-op game, to be honest.
Yeah, that's probably another reason why I wasn't as big a fan. Is I played this solo pretty much the whole time. But
Yeah. The game was like basically built around co-op.
Yeah. And I don't know how early you played it alone, but near the beginning, if you played it alone, the AI was horrible.
Oh yeah, I played this right away.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Must have been so rough. I don't know why this sticks out. This might be pointless. But for some reason, I remember the scene where it reveals that Jill Valentine is working with Wesker. And I remember it in the trailer. He goes so slow to catch on. But it just had the so slow part in the trailer. And I tried so hard to understand what the fuck he was saying because it was just so slow. And I'm just like, what? What is he saying?
Seriously. Okay.
So slow. It's like, and that was the end of the trailer. Like, why end on such an innocuous phrase?
Yeah.
That's weird, yeah.
I
don't think I've ever seen that, but...
Oh, I was so pumped for this game. I watched every trailer, watched every video I could find.
Because you defeat Wesker at the end with the boulder, I guess. Which
You fight him in a volcano, he infects himself, turns into a tentacly monster.
Wesker in the volcano with the boulder.
Yeah. What does the boulder even do to him? What's even the point of it?
It knocks him into the lava or something?
No, the boulder doesn't even hit him. The boulder, he punches the boulder out of the way so he can cross some lava.
Oh, really? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That they kill him by shooting rocket launchers into his face. Just like...
As you do.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah. And also, because I loved Wesker so much, I was obsessed with being like, he's not dead yet. And I would watch that video, and for some reason, it was just a weird way they animated it, but his head disappears before the rockets hit him. Like, it's just a glitchy, rendering of
bad animation.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I was still just like, he's alive. You saw his head disappear. That's got to mean something.
I'm going to give this one a rating real quick. I think this one, as a co-op game, is like pretty good. So I'd say maybe around like I think 7's a little high. I think I'd say 6.5, but then without it on your own, I'd say it's like a 6. I think. So the extra point is when it's like pretty good, but it's not. I don't think it's really that amazing. It wasn't as bad as I remember it being, but yeah.
I like this game a lot, so it's an 8 for me too.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm probably gonna give this one a 7. It's a fun game. I enjoyed it. It's just it didn't feel as much horror as I wanted it. Just the bright locations just didn't really do it for me.
Yeah,
and
same.
I found this one a little more forgettable than I would have liked.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember most of it, because I'm like, it was just, I don't know. I feel like the story took a backseat to things, and it was just kind of just like, remember, you can play couch co-op. It's cool.
I mean,
And
kind of. There is like a whole like emotional arc happening throughout this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Chris having thought he lost Jill.
Yeah.
And then there's like his new partner that's kind of like a surrogate for Jill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really like the survival horror aspect of of Resident Evil. So the more it goes into action, I'm like, nah. I think it's good, but it's not the reason why I play Resident Evil. Personally. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like one of my favorites.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Now we're on to 6.
Yes.
The infamous
The
6.
black sheep of the Resident Evil family.
Yeah.
Awesome black sheep.
Yeah, everybody's so hard on this game. I really enjoyed it.
I think before you were like, I don't like this game, and then you've changed your tune over the years. I think before you were like, 6 is weird. And you're like, it's too heavy.
I mean, it was weird. It was like 3 separate storylines, and it was
4 actually.
Yeah, that's
Fourth.
true.
There's a 4th.
There is
secret
4.
campaign.
it's so convoluted, and I can't keep track of everything. It's so hard to understand.
Once you've played it 17 times, like I have, you finally get the whole story. Actually, I still don't get it, but
Okay, well, all right.
I play it because it's like one of the best action games there is.
It is really fun. I'll say I had a lot of fun playing it. It just wasn't very Resident Evil for me, but
Personally, I like Leon's campaign the best,
Yes,
and that
me
one
too.
is the one that feels the most Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It is has the most horror elements, kind of the way I feel it is. The other ones definitely lean hard on the action.
yeah, totally.
Well, I'd say Chris's campaign is just 5 again, basically.
Yeah.
And then Jake and Sherry's campaign is like, it's basically
It's
like
weird. I don't know what it is.
it's like a chase action kind of combo. Like
It's bizarre.
It is bizarre. There's also some horror aspects to it, like the drill dude in the ice caverns or whatever. You gotta
yeah,
go
you gotta
around
be
him.
quiet. You
And
Gotta,
that
like hide in a garbage can.
Yeah, that part freaked the fuck out of me because sometimes like you'd have because you'd be again you're like I don't see him yet. Wait, is he moving around or do I not see him? Is he coming? Oh, you hear like a oh god, he like drills you.
Yeah, he just like opens up the garbage
Yeah,
can and like, blends you.
Yeah, I remember being in the what is it called? The garbage.
It was like
a bin.
Garbage
A garbage bin.
So
And I was like, I think I'm good. And he's like walking by. And then all of a sudden it's just like he's like gone. And all of a sudden it's like, I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, and it's like you are dead or whatever. And I'm like, oh fuck.
There's also a really stressful part right near that part where you're having to open and close like hatches with like turn turn handles.
And he can hear you, I think.
well no, he's chasing you through the
yeah,
doors.
you're like, oh, fuck,
and he keeps like breaking through them faster and faster, and as you're trying to open these doors, it's so fucking stressful.
I think that part is like one of my favorite parts of the game.
Yeah.
It's super stressful, but in a good way. And
Yeah.
it's like terrifying. And anyway. But the story first. I can't even begin.
I don't even know how you describe this story. 'Cause
Basically
they all interweave, but they're separate.
They all meet up at some point,
So-
don't they?
They
All the
meet up
people?
at different points
Okay.
throughout.
the 3 main stories are basically you have Leon, or which I think, in my personal opinion, I think the optimal way to play these campaigns is to go Chris, Leon, Jake, because Leon's has spoilers for Chris's and Jake's has spoilers for Leon's, and so
Yeah.
if you play it that way, you're not really getting anything spoiled. So with Chris's campaign, it's basically him just fighting another bioterror attack, trying to get revenge for a crew that he lost to who he thinks is Ada.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not Ada. It's some weird monster clone person that originally was a person and then got forced to become an Ada clone.
Yeah.
Okay then. Yeah.
I think it is like... I feel like it is Derek Simmons is the main bad guy in this game, and I feel like it is his like wife or something that he forced to do this or something. I
He was
can't
like
remember.
I don't know if it was his wife, but he's like obsessed with Ada.
Yeah, but it was someone like who he knew. It wasn't just some like random.
Okay.
It was like some person that he was close with.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she was his protege or something like that.
Maybe.
But like if you're gonna make a clone of a person, why do you need to force someone to turn into that person?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's so
this
weird.
game makes no sense.
It doesn't make much sense.
But it's
at all.
fun to play. That's the thing that saves it.
Story falls apart.
Oh,
But
absolutely. And so Chris's whole story is just trying to get revenge on this fake Ada Wong. It's pretty much the whole plot that way.
yeah, totally. So
He just chased. It's just him and his new partner Piers just chasing her down like the whole game.
yeah,
And then at the very end, they she ends up dying quotations, and they decide that, or they get a message from Leon to go and help the other protagonist, Jake, because his blood might be able to help. Yeah. And then in Leon's campaign, it starts. They kind of went for like the zombie.
Yeah,
They
the
went for
zombie
the
route.
zombie set.
It feels a
route
lot
finally.
more like it, especially after the remakes have come out.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking back on it, it feels a lot more like the original games, like the remakes of the original games.
yeah. It seemed kind of like 2-ish. I had
little
2
bit.
vibes on Leon's playthrough.
But they definitely because you're so badass in this game, they make the characters obnoxious. You can have kung fu fights with monsters. It's kind of obnoxious, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But because of that, they kind of had to ratchet up how crazy the zombies are. So zombies don't just shamble towards you in this game. They'll literally leap out of the darkness, frog leap, flying through the air and tackle you. And some of them turn into crazy armored zombies, and there's a giant fat one that attacks you once in a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their story is basically trying to figure out who started this outbreak. They know. I don't know if Helena is Leon's partner in this. I don't know if Helena actually caused the outbreak.
I think so. She was being blackmailed,
Right, but I think all she did was leave her security detail. So she was supposed to be guarding the president. She basically left, and then when she came back, the president was a zombie.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, it's basically
Right.
just going through trying to figure out who's behind that, even though she knows and is just keeping quiet, being I have to show you. Showing you is better. If you have to see it.
Come with me.
And then they chase down the guy that caused it all, and that's pretty much what Leon's campaign is all about.
pretty much.
Yeah.
There's some really cool set pieces. There's a part on an airplane where an infection breaks loose, which is pretty entertaining, and also I don't understand how that plane continues to fly for a while. I'm guessing there's autopilot or something, but you literally leave the cockpit for 20 to 25 minutes doing other shit, and then you come back and it's oh, there's no pilot, and I'm well, there hasn't been for the past 20 minutes.
Glad we didn't fucking crash. Good.
And one of some of the cool things about this game, though, I really liked that. And funnily enough, Capcom has taken this technology and actually applied it to a more recent game, Devil May Cry 5.
Oh, yeah.
Is where you'll be playing and you'll get to these part where they're crossover parts of the campaigns.
Yeah.
And it'll actually wait and see if there's anybody playing the other side of that. On the network.
Oh.
And if there is, there will literally be 4-player co-op. Or there can be 4-player co-op if you
Interesting.
do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I didn't realize that was a thing in 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I only got to do it a couple of times, but there was a thing that would. It still does it even today. It still sits there and it'll wait.
It still tries to find someone.
Yeah.
There's a 60-second timer on it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, but it'll still attempt, and I think you can skip it too. If you don't want to sit there.
Yeah, I
but,
never thought of that. Huh.
But yeah, you can
Okay.
literally do this weird thing that you can't even try. You could try to set it up, but it would be so hard to time that with
Yeah.
2 systems and playing different campaigns that cross over at different times. But I'm telling you, it happened Like when I first played, it did happen a couple of times where I just was randomly with some other people. Cool. And I know they've improved the technology now, because I know that even now, even though DMC5 isn't very popular or like currently played, I'll still run into people playing the other characters that pop into the chapters. So I guess it worked.
I guess so.
Yeah. Is DMC5? Is that the reboot they did? Or is that just 5?
No.
Okay.
No. DMC.
So they made a reboot called DMC, and then they made Devil May Cry. They're like, this reboot didn't work. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
They made a continuation of the other.
Well, that was stupid anyway.
They were just like, yeah, that's just its own thing. We're back to the real shit now.
Yeah. Oh, Virgil. Fuck. That was annoying. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I never talking about Devil May Cry. But that fight was super dumb until you told me, like, did you try this? And I'm like,
You were just playing it completely wrong.
yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. All right, then.
Funnily enough, I just tooled him earlier today.
Oh, did you?
Yep. I got the special edition.
No, I think the one you were talking about was from DMC.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh,
you were talking about DMC5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devil May Cry.
That fight's
Whatever.
annoying too. I remember it being like the hardest part of that entire game.
Yeah, but then there was like a thing that Will told me to do, and I'm like, oh. And then I can't remember
I
exactly
think
what
you
it
had
was.
to activate your devil trigger.
That's right. Yeah, you had to activate double trigger, and without it, he was like impossible.
Yeah, without it, you couldn't beat him.
Yeah, and like you actually couldn't. I think. And I was like attacking him for like an hour, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, double trigger's a thing. Cool. Anyway,
But yeah, I don't know. I this game is got the tightest, most fluid controls of the entire series. The fact that you can do like front rolls to flipping over and then facing the other way and like with your gun out, like aiming on the ground.
yeah, that was fun. I like that.
Yeah, and like you can actually dodge attacks in this game.
Yeah.
You have all the crazy melee attacks, like
Roundhouse kick.
yeah. Like they even have a dedicated melee button in this game. Like before this one, it was always context. It had to be like you shoot them in the head and they get stunned and then you can do an attack. But in this one, you literally had a dedicated melee button.
Yeah. The one with Jake and what's her face?
Sherry.
Sherry, yeah. I like that one for the sheer fact it was just pure action.
Yeah, it was
And that one was
pretty
just
ridiculous.
silly.
And it was silly, and I was like, I'm having like the best time right now. I forgot completely I was playing Resident Evil for the time there. Like, yeah, when the ice cavern comes, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm playing Resident Evil. But anything else, you're just like attacking dudes with fucking Japanese
just
masks
punching
or whatever.
the shit out of people.
That's like one of my favorite parts of that is when you get the after the time skip and you're captured and you don't have any weapons and you literally just have to melee all these dudes. And it has like some weird ass level design where it's like this like just sterile facility that's so sterile that everything is just white.
Yeah, it's
There's no
blindingly
color
white.
whatsoever.
And it's just weird, like inside there's like guys with like those Japanese masks or whatever, and I'm like, what's even the point of that? What?
It's to hide that there's C virus infected.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because the C virus infected always have like multiple eyes all over their faces.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay,
if they wear the mask, you can't really tell that they're infected. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I thought Ustanak, the kind of like nemesis, like
the chase kind of
chase guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty. It was a pretty fun concept. He just keeps coming back, and he has all these like different attachments to his arm. I remember when you fight him with Leon and Helena, he puts on like this claw, and just the way that they animate it opening and closing looks so fucking cool.
Oh yeah. One thing I want to say about 5 though that I forgot to mention is the fact that apparently there was like zombie dudes riding like motorcycles.
Yeah.
Not those
Well, they were Plagas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They weren't zombies.
But it's kind of funny just to see they're like, it's kind of like what's going on right now.
I mean, 4 had the dude driving the truck that you have to shoot.
The truck.
Yeah, there's a truck that barrels down towards you, and you have to shoot.
You have to shoot the guy in the truck.
Right. I forgot about that. Okay.
Ooh, okay. The normal enemies in like Jake and Sherry's campaign, or Jake and Chris's campaigns, are very cool because they're like adaptive. So you shoot them in their arm, and their arm will mutate, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
You shoot them in the head, and their upper body might mutate, kind of thing. But not only that, but they can also go into each enemy has a chance of going into a second stage where they go into a chrysalis and then become like a BOW crazy monster.
In 6?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It has a really cool system for the normal enemies in that
That's
game.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. It's like the virus is reactive to trauma kind of thing, I think is how they explain it.
That's interesting.
Like every time a body part gets trauma, there's a chance it'll mutate to like adapt kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's Ada's campaign as well, which comes in after.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about that. I just remember going around with the crossbow and that being
I
pretty
do remember
yeah, I
that one
remember
thing
that.
I did enjoy about Ada's campaign is that originally it was a single player.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought that was cool because it was kind of nice to get back to a single player Resident Evil game.
not having a partner.
They ended up adding a partner, like just so that a second player can join, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's still a single player technically campaign.
Yeah.
That character isn't in any cutscene. He just appears. But yeah, there was some interesting things about Ada's campaign. I remember there were some parts where you got to like sniper, I think, to help help Jake and Sherry against like the chainsaw guy in this game is actually pretty cool. He has like a heart inside of his chainsaw. It's a biological chainsaw.
Okay.
I don't
remember that at all.
So
Yeah, I
like
remember
his
that.
chainsaw is part of his body, and his heart is in the chainsaw, like running it. It's like a really fucking trippy character design.
Interesting.
And like all the teeth are like
Actual teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I remember enjoying that. Like I said, I think the 6 has some of like
Oh, no, I think I remember that actually slightly.
6 has some of like the best like design, I think, personally.
Yeah.
Even like the bosses, even though a little bit over the top of fighting, like for example at the end of Leon's, you fight Derek Simmons like in 6 different forms, but each form is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like you go from this dog kind of creature, this massive dog-like creature that has a he has a Gatling gun that shoots like bones that pops out of his back. And not only that though,
Biological Gatling gun.
biological Gatling gun. Not only that though, but his face is on the front.
What?
His face is on the Gatling gun, and then his face will like transfigure into a giant sword, and then, it's obnoxious
were you
and
high?
over the top.
Were you
Yes,
high?
they were.
Yeah.
I think.
Real's like, well, man, this would be
much.
pretty cool if we did this, but in the game, people are like, what the fuck?
By the end, he's literally like a 2-story tall fly.
Oh, Jesus. I don't remember that really. That's funny, though. Yeah, why would you put your face on the front of it, though? That's like weird. Was his face the gun portion of it? And he was like,
I think it shifts into like different flesh parts because he has this weird ability where he can like reconfigure his flesh.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's why. That's what it is. His face like disappears and it turns into like a cannon or a sword. But
Okay.
yeah, his face is literally on that part that's on his back. Because I remember a part in the fight where he crashes onto the train and it zooms in on his like weird back spine face thing.
and you're like, sweet Jesus, what is
You
that?
can't understand what he says because it's so modulated. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my god.
What is going on?
But like as obnoxious as this game is, it's just so much fun to play. I recently like actually played it through it with a friend, and like and it was the first time he had ever played it, and he just kept saying, I'm having the best time I think of my life right now.
This game is amazing.
Admittedly, he might have been a little drunk throughout our playthroughs, but
I have no idea what's going on, but this is enjoyable.
yeah. I do have one other story. There is a massive design flaw in this game that is you control the shit out of players on this game.
Oh?
One time, I was just playing online with random, just letting randoms join. One guy decided to take his unlimited ammo grenade launcher and literally lock me in the game. He shot me, so I'd go down. Then he picked me up, so I was healed. And before I could get to a menu to exit the game, shot me again, so I'd be down. This lasted 10 minutes. I had to force exit out of the game because there was nothing I could do.
That's obnoxious.
That's a massive oversight.
Yeah, really. That's super dumb. I don't like that.
Oh, I was pretty mad.
Yeah, understandably so. I would be like, fuck you, bro.
And he just kept doing it. I thought he'd stop eventually having his fun.
my
Nope,
God.
just kept on going.
Probably like some like 10-year-old
So
kid.
turn off my console.
Yeah, that's basically what I
And
had
it just
to do.
like pops out of existence. Your character just goes.
Oh, yeah. There are some cool other things. Like, for example, I don't know if and I think I mentioned it while we were watching a video or something there, but it has like one of the only protagonists that actually dies in a game.
Piers.
Yeah, because mostly protagonists in Resident Evil games, they're invincible. They're never going to die, kind of thing.
Yeah. Except for
The
Wesker,
only time you
eventually.
can die, well, he's not a protagonist.
He's an antagonist.
Oh, but right. True.
And like player character specifically too.
Oh yeah.
But whatever did happen to Shiva?
She's alive. She just. I'll tell you what. The fandom's toxic and a little racist, and so they.
The what? The what's racist?
Toxic and racist. Yeah, that sounds like the internet.
Yeah, and so Capcom was like, let's just not risk it and not have a black woman as a playable character anymore.
What happened? I'm confused.
Sheva.
What about? What about her?
She's like disappeared.
Why?
Reasons.
Yeah.
You said something about racism?
Well, I mean, kind of, probably.
Probably.
I mean, admittedly, it's
Look at
not
people
like.
on the internet these days.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, Helena hasn't returned either.
Yeah, but they've taken the series in a completely different direction since
true.
6.
Yeah, it's true. Like the first person aspect of it now.
Yeah.
Which I quite enjoy, actually.
But, yeah, I don't know, this
We'll
game.
talk about that later.
Yeah. It's up later.
This game is a lot of fun. It's just balls to the wall action.
It's
That's all it is,
mindless
man.
fun, basically.
Ridiculous. I found it very enjoyable.
Yeah, I found it very enjoyable as well. As far as the rating goes,
It's actually probably also the one that I've returned to the most. Just because it's the one I've returned to the most.
Okay.
Because, like, put the most hours into, probably, because, like I said, I just played it with a person who had never played it before. And that's like getting to re-experience the game again. So it's fun to do that still. You know, even though I've probably played through the game like 10 times. But it was still worth it to play through with someone new.
yeah, totally. I can see that.
I generally don't go back to games very often. So I really haven't gone back to any of them. But
Fair.
I was hanging out at my buddy's the other day, and he just booted up Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
He was like partway through the game at the castle, and I was like, oh yeah, sweet. I'll just sit and watch you play some Resident Evil 4. I'm down for that.
I also have flashbacks of playing Resident Evil 4 on the Gamecube. The shitty Gamecube controller with the giant
I
red
only
button.
played it on the GameCube.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
me too. But what else can you play it on? It's our PS4
Almost
now, I guess.
everything now.
Well, now, yeah, I
it got
guess.
ported to everything, essentially.
I didn't mind the GameCube controller, really.
I thought the
I
GameCube was
wasn't a
fine.
fan.
Better than the N64 controller.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but see, that's because you guys were already dealing with shit. I had a PlayStation, so to go to PlayStation to GameCube is still a downgrade controller-wise.
Fair. I mean, the controller is like looks like some sort of hybrid of something. It's like, why is the controller, the
Well,
things all
also,
weird?
why are all the buttons here like different sizes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is quite odd.
It's unnecessary design choices.
And why the analog sticks like this or whatever. It's like, that's weird.
Oh yeah, they're lopsided.
Weird
Yeah.
Nintendo decisions.
Yeah.
I think they took that from Xbox, though. I think because
yeah,
Xbox has
yeah,
the offset
yeah.
stick. And
True. Yeah. I never liked it, though.
no, I don't.
I don't like that either.
I don't know why you would want that.
Yeah, it's like
if you're using the right stick, you're using the left one. So you might as well have them both at the same spot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really weird.
I guess for games where you're mostly using face buttons, it would be better for like hack and slash games, I guess, a little bit.
Maybe.
Because then you've got your thumbs in the same position on the controller, right? You've got your movement and your like attacks and stuff on the same spot.
Yeah, possibly. Could be.
I mean,
But yeah. Anyway, for like a review of
I like a symmetrical controller.
Yeah, me too.
Nice.
I do too. Yeah. But as far as like what I think about this game, I think I'd like as far as like a rating, if I'm gonna give it anything, I'd probably give it like maybe like as far as like if it was for Resident Evil game, I kind of give it like a 6. Because it's not very Resident Evil in my opinion, but it's fun as fuck. So I'll say I'd give it like around like a 7 because it was pretty fun to play.
For Resident Evil game, I'd give it a 7. For a game in general, I give it a 9.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm more along the lines of you. Leon's camp, like as far as it being a Resident Evil game, if it was just Leon's campaign, I would give it like a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as as encompassing all 3 campaigns, probably more of a 7 for a Resident Evil game. But as a game itself, it's like an 8 for me. It's probably somewhere in the middle.
Fair enough.
I quite enjoyed it. I probably enjoyed Leon's the most, but
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's the best campaign for sure.
It's almost like they should have been different.
I'm also a bit of a Leon stan. He's my guy for Resident Evil.
And that makes sense. You came into the series with 4, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. My favorite character is Jill, and for the same reason, my first game was Resident Evil 3. So, fell in love with Jill, and
Yeah.
which pisses me off to no end that she hasn't been in as a playable character in a game. Well, I guess she was in DLC of 5, but I don't really count that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a hour long or hour and a half long DLC, or I guess there's 2 of them actually where you get to play as her.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's 5 DLCs.
Okay.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it kind of pisses me off she hasn't been in like any of the games really other than 5.
Yeah.
And then after 6, they just changed everything completely. So who knows what they're doing now, what their plans are.
Right.
Yeah.
The only like callback at like 7 was like, well, I guess we can talk about that later, but Chris shows up at some point in it, and there's like the Wesker gun that they have, and it's like, okay, is Wesker in this shit? Like, where is he? It's just like, there's guns over there. Okay.
It's
all right.
to honor Chris's mortal enemy. I don't know. But
Yeah. Anyway, any closing remarks on 6 or any of the other ones we're talking about?
Not really.
No.
I think we said what we said.
Yeah, kind of wish I had more stuff to say about them because like it's been so long since I've actually played them.
It's been quite some time for me as well.
Like even though I played 4, when I say recently, it wasn't like that recently. It was probably about like a year ago, so it's not that much recently. But
It's
recently,
more recent than me.
yeah.
See, I
but-
played 6 like 4 months ago.
Okay. Yep.
So it's pretty fresh in my head.
And 6 I've only played once. 5 I've only played once. So trying to like look back on it and shit is really tough, especially since
Yeah,
they really
definitely.
didn't like the games themselves weren't like super like they didn't really grab me a lot. So I don't remember a lot of them, but they were still fun to play. So. But yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for.
Do you want to do
yeah.
some recommendations?
Yes, recommendations.
For video games?
Yeah.
Anything? Why don't you guys start this time?
Trying to think.
I'm gonna put this all on you, Brody.
Okay.
Make you start.
Oh god. Okay, let's see. Oh, let me think. Well, okay. Well, I'll just mention because I went back to it. Still playing it is Bloodborne. That was a very fun game. I just said fuck this game at some point or another because it was just so hard. But now that I kind of understand a little more on how to do it, how to like dodge stuff and everything else, it's still hard, but it's doable. And like the story's really cool. It's very Lovecraftian kind of stuff. So if you love like Lovecraft and and that kind of like horror aspect of it, you can really enjoy that. It's got some really cool lore and whatnot. It kind of sucks you don't get like much like cutscenes telling you stuff. You got to actually like
It's a Soulsborne game.
yeah, you gotta be like, I'm gonna search through stuff and maybe I'll find some shit. But that would be my pick because that's like the most recent one that I played other than Elden Ring. And Elden Ring so far is not bad, pretty good. So that's just what I'd suggest.
Yeah, I love Bloodborne. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, both of the games I've played recently are pretty high. They're already like AAA games. They're
mainstream.
Not,
People.
The mainstream.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking
People
for.
like know them already. It's like
yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Death's Door. If you haven't played Death's Door, check it out. It's kind of a roguelike. You play as this little little magpie crow guy with a big sword, and it's fantastic. It's a really fun game.
So is
Not super long, but yeah.
Top down, I think, right?
it's got like a Hollow Knight feeling to it a little bit.
A bit, yeah. It's kind of a little bit more kind of Legend of Zelda. It's like isometric.
Yeah.
You're more top down.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it looked pretty
Maybe not like full top down. It's kind of like top down.
Top down is
It's
Well,
like a 2.5D or something like that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a super fun game.
You can get on PlayStation 4 now, right?
Yes, I believe it's on all platforms now. I played it on Steam. I got it on Steam when it first came out.
Nice. Okay.
And for me, it's definitely going to be Sifu. It just came out recently. It's basically if you took Sekiro, turned it into a kung fu game, and then made it a old school arcade beat 'em up. That is basically what that game is. It's really awesome. The combat is so fantastic looking that I've literally had friends just sitting there watching me play and being like, I feel like I'm just watching a fucking crazy kung fu action movie right now.
If it's that good, I might need to pick that up because I'm super into kung fu and kung fu movies and shit like that. If it's that like kind of cinematic, then that's
it is
pretty
fantastic.
Cool.
I've beaten it, but now I'm trying to. It has a really interesting thing where, in order to get the secret ending, you have to like do this weird passive thing where you don't kill the guys you're going for revenge against.
Okay.
And so you have to. So like Sekiro, you've got like the structure or the what was it called? Posture in Sekiro,
Yeah.
right? It's called structure in this one. So it's like your guard basically.
Yeah.
And so in order to spare the bosses, you have to get their structure bar filled twice instead of once.
Okay.
So it like ratchets up the difficulty quite a bit since the bosses are already ridiculous. Okay. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. The combat system is, like I said, phenomenal and super entertaining.
cool.
Suggest giving it a play.
Nice. Yeah, if it's as good as you say it is, like in that aspect, I'll have to check it out. 'Cause that sounds pretty cool.
Well, we could share play sometime and I could show you.
Yeah, sounds good. That'd be good. All right, guys. Well, I think that does it for the Resident Evil games. Next, we'll be talking about 7 and 8. There's no 9 yet. So
Yeah, 7
and 8 and the remakes. That would be good to talk about.
I know we discussed them a little bit when we talked about the
barely,
games,
though.
but yeah, we can
But
go more.
I'm calling this the RE engine era.
what?
That's the engine they use for their games now.
Yeah.
Capcom made an in-house engine.
They did.
Interesting.
I think for the first time for them because I think they were using like Unreal and stuff like that.
Unreal. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Neat. All right, well, guys, thanks for enjoying. Thanks for joining us.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like below and subscribe, depending on where you're watching this. And we'll be back soon with more content. See you guys later. Have a good day.
Yeah, try not to punch any boulders; you'll break your fist.
Agreed.
I don't think I will break my fist.
I can do it.